What is going on, guys? It's your boy Sredwards here. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're jumping in to the beginner's guide, and it was a Steam sale. It was like a bundle deal with the Stanley Parable and this, made by the same people. And yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. Key: make sure your audio is on. Controls, they're pretty simple. WASD, left mouse.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for CounterStrike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
November of 2000? White room, very bright. Warning. Oh!
Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
Whisper machine active. Alright, so...
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Okay, so not there. Is something gonna chase me? There's no reload animation. Red lights.
Hostile alien life forms in
Right. Okay, so both doors open, it looks like.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah.
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Huh.
enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Oh, so
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Yeah, that's interesting. Can you see the top? I don't know. You were probably supposed to kill something in that room. It said threat fixed or something like that. Oh, is this a? Why yes, it is. It is definitely a maze.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, I actually wanted to do it though. All right.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Oh.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine.
All right.
You could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Oh, if I just run through it, you know, just sacrifice my life.
Would you do it?
Oh yeah,
Would
this
you
is
give yourself?
great. Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead. Dead, just like
Let me
that.
pause here for a second.
Done.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying,
Yeah,
is
sacrifice.
probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Alright, so this is what happens. Oh. Glitchy McGee. That labyrinth is pretty straightforward.
The beam causes you to start floating.
So I went there.
And this is an
I was gonna
important
go
moment
there.
for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch,
Right.
but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small
There.
it makes you feel in the
There.
face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. I'm digging this. Going through like a memory kind of thing. Okay, I can. The past was behind.
Yep, in this game you can only walk
What?
backwards.
What? That is very interesting. Oh,
So it's a short and
future
relatively
could not be
minimalist
seen.
experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it
Why is
seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
when she stops and looks, it becomes clear. You can only walk backwards. That is weird. That is really weird. You don't really. Could you confront it?
It's a short little thought, it
Oh.
says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
Yep, done.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Still in November 2008. Okay. This is like one. You are now entering what? Hell? Darkness? Depression? I don't know. You can only stay on this path. Oh.
And that's it.
Oh.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. Black Ops is playing Arma 3.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Right. So you just start.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was
Looking?
making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Nah, not really digging it. I don't like the.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So
Great.
why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Full speed is way nicer than crawling. Okay. Stand on X at a bear for 3 hours. What? Is this would be a bunch of people talking?
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Oh. A key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate game.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Huh. January of 2009. I think I'll probably stop it when it goes to 2010, just so that way, you know, I could probably get it done in probably 2 parts. It only goes to 2011. Do 2 years of games, part 1 and part 2. Seems like it's going to be pretty short games, as the Stanley Parable was, depending
Well,
on which
this is
ending.
new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and
dig
see
the
if you
floor.
can solve it.
I like the dark wood floors. Alright. Open sesame. Right, so is it... No. F? Flashlight? Okay, so... I'm gonna see if this switch opens that door when I shut this. I could not tell. But, I might be able to just lock myself in there. I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I can't do anything? Yep. That's the worst. Oh!
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Okay.
We're gonna see it a
That was
lot.
pretty easy. 3 circles. Should I remember that? In that order? Upside down triangle, 3 circles, orange pillars. The floor has moved to the pillars. Interesting. Oh, the floor is back on the floor. These lights? Oh,
So that
they're
seems
bright?
to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Yeah.
Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
All of the walls from this room. Whoa! He must have been working on this game forever.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
Wow.
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Wow.
Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Huh. Oh, we came back to this? You can still only go on the pathway. You are now exiting.
Aha! So,
Entering,
this,
exiting,
combined
whatever
with
it
the
is.
entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
March of 2009. The Great and the Lovely Descent. I don't know why. The house looks nothing like it, but it kind of like reminds me of like Courage the Cowardly.
Let's talk about video game
Courage the
development
Cowardly
for a second.
Dog.
Every video
Just by
game
how
runs on what's called an
empty it is.
engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
Right.
So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay. So
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
Oh.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Okay. Oh,
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
that
You might consider
worked
paying
out.
attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing
just
linear
cheated
boxy
all of
corridors.
that. Okay, there's a glass force field that you cannot get through. I cannot believe I just cheated all that. I was just unintentionally messing around. Like, I thought I was actually gonna die on that jump. Not even joking. Right. So, looks like he may have had ideas of branching it off. Possibly. Now we're being... This is like horse prison. Kinda. Right? Oh. Open sesame. Okay. Not sure if I really like the music. Oh, it's an elevator? Oh, just kidding, not that floor. Oh, this one. So it wants me to go into jail. And I cannot do anything but that. Right. Okay, well, I guess we're set in jail. Oh my
This
goodness.
prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, I would I would appreciate that. Really don't want to stay here
This
for
is
an
something
hour.
that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Hold on. Oh, wait. Can I swear I could, like, almost make it over that. Alright, there's some kind of thing there. So, you guys argued a lot about his work. I don't know, I just feel like you shouldn't interfere. You should do your own thing and how you think it should be. This is how he thought the game should be. This is how he thought they should be. Again, upside down triangle, 3 circles, you know, that's gonna mean something. This is potential for a gas station, kinda. Small one, but...
It's the puzzle again,
Yeah.
with the exact same solution as the last time.
Okay, sign me up. Let's do it.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay. I've never personally made a game. I don't know exactly how hard it is, but I mean, I'd make a game. It probably takes a lot of time and patience, and you probably got to know what you're doing. Yeah, that's probably a big thing. Listen. You there?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Okay. You there, did you come from above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. So let's go 2, because that's what happened. Okay. That's the world above. You've been there? Now, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle of 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. It was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Now I don't remember having to go through. I'd prefer not to tell you after all, but I'll tell you, yeah. Again, perfect. Now please tell us about how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. None of those are right, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be one. I'm trying to remember and help you guys. You must think harder, please. Try to remember. It's so important that we get out of here. We must escape this prison. Can you think harder? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Wow. Who's with the books and stuff? Oh. They open it. At least you guys are warm in here, right? I don't know how you're keeping warm, but go through the windows. Throw yourself through the windows. Oh. Are these the same guys? Are they in this? Oh, just kidding. Looks like they're in the exact same position. I don't remember the arm cross. Oh, how did you get here? A puzzle is hard to pass through. Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, I've been right here this entire time. What? Okay, do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the blank space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. I don't recall a space in between the doors. I didn't feel strange, and why would you care about that? There's a reason, but it may take time before you understand, which is fine. You'll see it again soon. Huh. Okay. Books, same positions. Fire still burning. Stairs this time. Probably gonna take us to the same guys.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Okay. It's a very bright light. He didn't bother putting in more lights. He said, screw it, don't need them. Now we're in a apartment courtyard.
It's a lamppost.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Huh. I'm down. Let's do it. April of 2009. The game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All the notes you see are left by other players. Right. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Right.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Interesting. Yeah, this would take some time.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Yeah, this would take some time to place all these notes. He put all this time in these games, but I just want to know, was he truly complete? Like, did he do everything?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Huh. Does it want me to pause? No. Okay. We're at chapter 8? How many chapters are there? What are the whispers? The whispers have been here since, like, the shooting game, I think. That is a lot of typewriter action. There's the lamppost. That is a lot of typewriter action. Are they even typing anything? No. Oh, are you there? Please say something. It can't be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me. Why are you not talking? Speak, 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 speak. Oh, that was hard to keep up with that. May/June 2009. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. Oh, I really am digging this. Oh. Okay. Digging the music. Got a nice beat to it. Oh, this opened. I didn't even realize that. Oh my gosh, I'm really digging this house. I would love to have a house set up like this. Like the beat's just killer. Alright, so what are we going? That one singular light lighting up this whole hallway somehow? Is this a...
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it.
Oh, this is the well.
You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. V2, Mark II? Right. No furniture, just outlines. Digging it. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Can I choose? A refrigerator put a giant hole in the ground? How about a TV with a surround sound? Or a table? Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, what about the what about along the wall of the room? Let's put a huge picture. Like, doesn't matter if I pick anything. 10 stoves lined up against the wall. It doesn't matter. No, just 2 couches. Yeah, that's definitely what I said. I think we ought to light up this room a bit. Let's just random pick. Test the coils. Okay. And a table. You need a table. Yep. Pretty sure none of my choices are making a difference. Right. Oh. Wow.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yeah, it is pretty weird. I don't understand that.
So, okay, he
okay.
throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Right. Hello, walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow instructions carefully, take care, and remember each step. First, click on the table. Good, now go over to the photo frame and click and turn it slightly. Now, turn it off and back on. Now go to the left of the sofa, move it over a little bit. Finally touch the shelves. That's it. And a real prison, the escape can now be open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Okay. Yeah, return. Let's do it. That was pretty simple. If that's how you escape a maximum security prison, sign me up.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Ah, right. Great.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working?
Upside down.
But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Alright. Well, this video has been going on for quite some time now. I know I said I was going to do 2 years at a time, but it seems to be taking a little longer than anticipated. So I'm going to leave you guys at this cliffhanger. So you'll stay tuned for next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Ooh,